My name is Tamsin Raystrick. My husband and I own a 156-acre farm in Picton, Prince Edward County. We farm about 50 acres and have a few little dwarf goats that we're keeping, and we're hoping to develop a wedding farm business also on the property. When we contacted VELD, we knew we wanted to build a wedding barn, but we weren't quite sure how to go about it. Being new to Canada, we weren't familiar with the processes, what was required, zoning legislation and all the impacts that had, and we were completely out of water with the way we should attach it to our current building. Krista was amazing. She talked us through and presented us with a plan of all our various different options. And what was nice was it wasn't just, this is what you should do. There was a whole selection of options for us to consider, which we were then taken through in depth, and each various option was explained to us how it worked and why it was or was not going to work for us as a business. So when we contacted VELD, we had absolutely no idea how we were going to really progress with this. We just knew that we wanted to do it. And having dealt with Krista and VELD, we now have a much clearer idea of not only the direction we want to go, but a cohesive plan of how to get there. VELD was amazing in that it wasn't just a simple, you will do this and this will solve your problems. It was an in-depth explanation to people who really had no idea what they were doing of how the whole system worked, the way it should be approached, all the different options that we had available to us. There was analysis, explanations. We were basically taken through every single step of what we would be going through and what we should achieve at each step and how we should get there. So, you know, whether we wanted to build attached to an existing building, all the implications that would bring that we hadn't even considered, or whether we wanted to build a separate barn on a different part of the site and all the advantages that would give us. Again, things that we had not considered, all were pulled together by VELD and presented to us in a very detailed plan that we were then talked through to reach the right decision for us as a business. Okay, so when we first went to VELD, we had this idea of a wedding barn, and we very much like to recycle, so we thought we would take down an existing barn that we had and use it to build the new barn that we wanted. It was explained to us by Krista that this was not going to be the most cost-effective option, and we were okay with that. And then it was also explained to us that not only was it going to be massively more expensive, it wasn't actually going to give us the type of building that we were after. To meet code, we were going to have to set the building back from our existing structure. Otherwise, we were going to become embroiled in full-scale fire suppression systems, fire exits, all sorts of extra noise reduction and different kinds of building materials, all of which was going to take a very expensive building that we had no idea about and make it even more expensive. And just generally, the whole costing process and how it could be made more efficient for us, and get a barn that we hadn't really considered in the first place, but was actually going to prove to be far more beneficial to our business. Oh, the needs and options report that was produced was absolutely essential. Absolutely essential. It was a bargain for the price. We got so much information from that report, a much deeper understanding of what was going to be required and how we would actually have to go through the process, and you know, which type of building we were going to use. Without that initial report, we would have had no idea and would have just blundered through making a mess of everything. It was invaluable in the decision-making process of building another building, and also in its siting, its landscaping, its thermal efficiency, all the things that we could do with it that we hadn't considered before. Without a doubt, VELD has exceeded our expectations. I think you would be hard-pressed to find another architect who puts the same effort into providing their customers with everything that they need. This is not a business that does a straight A to B, produce a report, hand it over. This is a business that considers the needs of their clients and ways to best perform a service for them to get the right outcome.